anyways, my story, my next book is going to be told from the point of view of Robin Williams, but it's going to be a fantasy novel based on real history and events that have really happened. So I will be taking the Zack. I think what I'm going to do is open up the book. I'm going to open up with Bible prophecy about the Antichrist. And Robin Williams is going to be asking Zack Knight, you think you're going to be able to change Bible prophecy and come out on top? The Bible says Satan's going to lose. The Antichrist is going to go end up in the lake of fire. You know you're the Antichrist. So Zack Knight, you're on a losing proposition. And then Zack Knight will argue with him and say, oh yes, I can outdo the Bible. I can outdo him. Satan and I are going to win. And then what's going to happen is, I think in the second chapter, I'm going to open up where the rapture happens. And Zack Knight goes into a panic because he can't find Rule 13. And he finds out that she's been raptured. He thought, how could she be raptured? She supported me. She's supposed to go to hell like where I'm going. And you know what? I don't think Rule 13 is going to go to hell. Now, I think that's where Zack Knight's going to go, unless he changes his ways. But I don't think Rule 13 is going to go to hell. You say, but she hasn't said the sinner's prayer. It doesn't matter. Jesus lets some people in heaven, even if they don't say the sinner's prayer, if they just lived a loving and humble life. If they had the sinner's prayer in their heart, even if they've never officially said it, that in itself will be enough to go to heaven. He judges us by our motives, not by our actions. So I'm going to open up like the second chapter where Zack Knight's going to be in a panic when he's going to realize that he's lost Rule 13 forever. He just assumed she would end up in hell with him. And after the rapture, she's missing, and he realizes that she's been raptured with the church, and she's gone up into heaven. And then Robin Williams is going to say to Zack Knight, hey, Zack Knight, do you really want to be? Now you're the Antichrist, and you got to do it without your love. And you'll never have her. You won't have her in hell. You've lost her forever. He says, but Rule 13 won't be happy in heaven without me. And then Jesus Christ is going to come on the scene and say, well, you know what I've done for Rule 13, Zack Knight? I've removed all of her memories of you on earth. And I've created a clone of you in heaven for her. And he's just like you, except he's better. He really loves her. So Rule 13 is getting in heaven what she always wanted on earth and what you wouldn't give her. Your hand in marriage. She wanted to marry you. And I've given that to her. So Rule 13. So Zack Knight, Antichrist, congratulations. You've made it. You are the Antichrist. But surprise, surprise, you thought Rule 13 would be here with you, and she's not. You're going to have to be the Antichrist without her. And then he's going to be so despondent, and Satan's going to say, oh, I don't want him as the Antichrist anymore. He's so depressed. Jesus, can I change my mind and get somebody else? And then this is where Zack Knight's going to go into forced psychotherapy with Robin Williams. And Robin Williams is going to take him back to the past and make him go back to the Heian period in Japanese history, and he's going to have to live with my Oshu Fujiwara family and observe them and learn some lessons from them as he experiences what they had to go through. And I'm going to bring him back into history and have him go through the stages. Basically, he's going to be living out the Homoda Tatsu story. And then after he goes through that, then we're going to parallel that with choices he's made. And he's going to be analyzing those choices in light of what he's learned by dealing with the Oshu Fujiwara family, my ancestors. And then this will also help him understand Rule 13 because she's Japanese, and this is a Japanese royal family. And then we'll get to the end of the book after he's had this experience, going back in history, reliving what the Oshu Fujiwara family had to go through, then jumping forward into future history where then Robin Williams says, and then you decided to do this. You tried to rape Gail. Why did you make that choice, Zack Knight? It seems like time and time again you chose against love and for ambition. And you had this us-them attitude where anybody who wasn't a Catholic was inferior to you. Just like they had that problem with Oshu Fujiwara. So I'll be drawing parallels between past history, future, present history, and he's going to be really examining his life. And then he's going to get back to the same spot where he has to deal with the fact that he's lost Rule 13. And then Robin Williams is going to say, well, Zack Knight, it's up to you. You can either, if you want to keep Rule 13 and go to heaven like she's going to go, then you have to choose for love. And then the book will end there, and I probably won't have a clear ending, and we'll say the ending will be chosen by Zack Knight. If he chooses for love, he gets to go to heaven with Rule 13. If he chooses for ambition and for his Catholic Church, he goes to hell without Rule 13. And he's going to be very lonely there. So the whole book's going to be like deep psychoanalysis into Zack Knight's heart and soul. And it's like he's going to be dissected, his heart is. He's going to be jumping back from history, and he's going to get a real deep knowledge of the Japanese heart and what he's missing because he loses Rule 13 after the rapture. Anyways, check the links underneath this video. It's all there.